Old friend, let me begin with a question that may sound almost insulting in its simplicity. What if the thing you've been searching for your whole life, the key that unlocks transformation itself, has been lying in plain sight this entire time? What if the reason you haven't seen it isn't because it's hidden too deep, but because it's so close, so obvious, your own mind refuses to believe it could matter? You've been told that anything of value must be earned through endless hours, sacrifice, and discipline. But the truth I reveal to you now is this. Quantum shifting is so simple that most people miss it completely. They miss it not because it is too hard to grasp, but because their conditioning has trained them to believe that if it isn't complicated, it cannot possibly be real. This is the trick your ego plays. It thrives on complexity. It wants maps, rituals, charts, certifications, and obstacles. It wants to say, I am worthy because I endured the struggle. And so, when the door swings open with ease, you hesitate. You back away. You whisper, this can't be right. It's too easy. In that hesitation, the miracle collapses. That is why most never step through. The spiritual ego, as I have watched it unfold across centuries, convinces you that worthiness is proven by suffering. The more you strain, the more you prove you are serious. The more exhausted you are, the more you imagine you are close to enlightenment. But tell me, has that exhaustion ever carried you across the threshold? Has the weight you've dragged up the mountain ever revealed the horizon? The priests of Kem, those who came to me in the temples by the Nile, asked me why so few could enter the quantum field when all the knowledge had been given to them. I answered, because the mind builds fortresses of complexity to avoid its own naked simplicity. Your intellect is a brilliant tool for navigating the physical world. It calculates, measures, organizes. But when it comes to higher frequencies, it becomes the greatest barrier. The intellect wants to dissect synchronicity rather than receive it. It wants to debate intuition rather than follow it. It wants to judge peace as boring, suspicious, somehow wrong. And in this way, it traps you. Look at your own journey. How many courses have you taken? How many techniques have you mastered? How many hours spent in meditation, not because you were present, but because you were trying to get somewhere else? And yet here you are, still searching. That's because effort itself becomes resistance. When you push, you declare that what you want is not already yours. You broadcast lack. And the field, ever faithful, mirrors that signal back to you. This is why the harder you try, the further it feels. Your brain itself is designed this way. The amygdala, the alarm system of your nervous system, scans for threats. When life begins to flow smoothly, when manifestations appear without effort, it whispers, danger. Something must be wrong. It interprets ease as suspicious, because survival taught it that good things must always come after toil. So when synchronicities start multiplying, when the right people appear, the doors open, the timing aligns, you sabotage. You pick fights with new partners. You create drama where none exists. You find reasons to doubt the opportunity, not because you don't want abundance, but because your identity has been built on struggle. Without struggle, who would you be? This is the identity crisis that stops most seekers cold. If quantum shifting is simple, what does that say about the years you've spent proving your worth? What about the money spent on retreats, on healing sessions, on training? The ego would rather cling to familiar suffering than step into unfamiliar ease. And so it invents the veil of complexity. It tells you that truth must be hidden in long formulas and rare rituals. It convinces you that without another teacher, another system, another practice, you cannot possibly reach the sacred. And yet, the truth stares you in the face. The quantum field does not respond to your certificates, your meditation streak, your hours logged. It responds only to one thing, the purity of your frequency. Consider this carefully. You cannot fake coherence any more than you can fake a radio station. Either you are tuned, or you are not. You may plaster affirmations over your mind, but if your nervous system trembles with fear, the broadcast is distorted. You may visualize wealth, but if your body tenses when bills arrive, scarcity is louder than your vision board. This is why people can do everything right, the rituals, the visualizations, the affirmations, and still attract contradiction. Their conscious intentions and unconscious patterns are sending different signals, and the field mirrors back the confusion. I want you to imagine for a moment how the universe actually listens. Not to your words, not to your thoughts, but to the totality of your energetic signature. The emotions you bury, the beliefs you inherited, the tensions in your body, the frequency of your nervous system. This is your true broadcast. The field doesn't check whether your words are pretty. It checks if your frequency is clear. When it is not, you experience what I call energetic static. Yes in your mouth, no in your heart, fear in your body. The field mirrors back the static as chaos, mixed results, delays. Now here is the revelation. Reality is not made of matter that somehow produces consciousness. Reality is consciousness first, matter second. Consciousness is the field, and matter is its song, vibrating at different frequencies. The physicists of your age are only now beginning to glimpse what I inscribed on the walls of temples. Observation itself collapses possibility into form. You are not a bystander. Your attention is the selector. At every moment, you are tuning into one among infinite realities. Which one appears is determined not by what you say you want, but by the frequency you are actually broadcasting. This is why your attempts to force new realities often fail. You believe you must create what does not yet exist, when in truth every possibility already exists. You do not create by force, you calibrate by coherence. If your desire, your emotions, and your nervous system align, the field has no choice but to reflect that alignment. If they contradict, the reflection is fragmented. The universe cannot be tricked by words. It is tuned by authenticity. Old friend, I tell you this not to dismiss your efforts, but to free you from them. You have carried the lie of struggle for too long. You have believed that worthiness must be proven in sweat. But the deeper truth is this: the most profound shift of your life will not come when you have done enough, studied enough, prayed enough. It will come the moment you surrender the need to struggle, the moment you allow yourself to recognize that what you seek is already vibrating within you. The field is listening now. What are you truly broadcasting? Old friend, by now you can feel the sting of what I told you before, that all your striving, all your efforting, all your years of labor were never the bridge to the reality you sought. They were the barrier. And so the natural question rises in you: if effort cannot deliver, then what can? If the field does not respond to my struggle, then how do I actually step into alignment with it? This is where I reveal to you what I once whispered to initiates behind the sealed stone doors of temples. The path is not paved with doing, but with being. And being rests on 4 pillars so steady that when you learn to stand upon them, the entire quantum field bends around you. They are not techniques, not strategies, not practices you can tick off in a journal. They are ways of inhabiting yourself until you radiate coherence so clearly that reality itself cannot help but reorganize around you. The first of these pillars is self-awareness, but not the shallow kind preached in therapy manuals. I am not speaking of analyzing your childhood or tracing every thought back to some wound. I am speaking of the crystalline witnessing that allows you to observe your inner storm without being carried away by it. Imagine you are driving and a reckless driver cuts you off. The old self ignites in fury, your heart races, your tongue sharpens, and perhaps a curse leaps out. But the awakened self pauses in that gap before the flame catches. You feel the anger arise, but you do not become the anger. You watch the story your mind wants to tell about this careless stranger, but you do not let that story write your reality. In that instant of observation, you have stepped out of the cage of unconscious reaction and into the spaciousness of choice. This is not emotional numbness, it is mastery, because only from witnessing can you choose. Self-awareness is the light that prevents you from being swallowed by your own shadows. The second pillar is radical responsibility. Do not misunderstand me, this is not about blame or guilt. That is still the ego's game. Radical responsibility is about recognizing that everything in your field is a mirror of your frequency. The frustrating colleague, the unreliable friend, the repeating disappointments, they are not punishments dealt to you by a cruel universe. They are signals broadcast back to you by the field, exact reflections of the patterns running in your own consciousness. Most people resist this because it strips away their favorite story, I am a victim. But when you claim ownership of your output, something extraordinary happens. You realize that if you created the problem, you can uncreate it. If your vibration invited this pattern, then a different vibration can invite a different reality. This recognition terrifies the ego because it kills its excuses. But it frees your soul because suddenly the power is yours again. The third pillar is what I call accountability states. Think of most people as weather vanes, spinning with every gust of external circumstance. Someone insults them, and their frequency plummets. They get good news, and it spikes. They live as reaction, not creation. But to quantum shift, you must choose specific states of being and anchor yourself in them, regardless of the storm around you. Gratitude, curiosity, peaceful strength. Whatever states you choose become the anchors that tether you to the reality you wish to inhabit. Do you want abundance? Then hold the energetic state of one who already has enough, even when your bank account whispers otherwise. Do you want love? Then hold the vibration of one who knows they are worthy, even in solitude. This is not denial. It is training. You are teaching the field which frequency you have chosen as your home. The more consistently you return to these chosen states, the more reality bends to reflect them. The fourth pillar is detachment from perception. This may be the hardest, because humans are addicted to interpretation. Something good happens and you label it as success. Something bad happens and you label it as failure. But every time you assign rigid meaning, you lock yourself into a narrow timeline. The truth is that you have no idea what any event truly means in the vast orchestration of the field. The job you lost may be the doorway to something far greater. The breakup you mourn may be the clearing that allows true partnership to arrive. Detachment does not mean indifference. It means holding your judgments lightly, staying open to possibilities your limited perspective cannot yet see. When you stop insisting that you know exactly what every moment means, you make room for the field to surprise you. And the field loves to surprise those who are humble enough to let it. Now let me tell you what happens when these four pillars begin to strengthen. At first, life feels like chaos. Your old identity starts to dissolve, your old coping mechanisms fail, your old certainties vanish. You feel like you are losing your mind, and in a sense you are, the mind that belonged to the old timeline. This is the sacred threshold. It is the chrysalis where the caterpillar dissolves before the butterfly is born. Most people panic here. They think they are breaking down, so they scramble to glue the pieces of the old self back together. They run back to the job that suffocates them, the relationship that drains them, the beliefs that keep them small. But you must not do this. You must learn to hover in the void, to breathe into the chaos, to trust the process even when no new shape has yet appeared. The threshold is not failure. It is calibration. Your system is shedding the frequency of your old world so it can anchor into the frequency of the new. I have watched this transition thousands of times, and I tell you this, the intensity of the dissolution always matches the magnitude of the shift. If you feel as if everything is falling apart, it is because something extraordinary is being born. Your fatigue is not weakness, it is your nervous system rewiring. Your tears are not instability, they are old patterns leaving your cells. Your foggy mind is not decline, it is refusal to run on outdated programming. Every symptom is proof that your frequency is upgrading. Hold steady. But understand this too, shifting into a new reality and stabilizing there are two different arts. Many of you have touched the new frequency. You have felt the synchronicities, the flow, the effortless alignment. And then, days later, you are back in the old reality, doubting if the experience was real. It was real. What you lacked was frequency fidelity, the ability to hold the new vibration consistently while the old one still echoes around you. Think of it like moving to a new country. At first, you visit as a tourist. But if you wish to stay, you must learn the language, adjust to the culture, allow your nervous system to adapt. The old patterns of your mind will try to drag you back. Old friends will trigger the old you. Old circumstances will rise like ghosts, not to punish you, but because energy always tries to maintain its momentum. Your task is not to fight them, but to gently, consistently return to your chosen state. This is why I say consistency is more powerful than perfection. You will slip. You will wobble. But each time, ask yourself, who am I choosing to be right now? And then make one small choice that belongs to the new identity. Each small choice strengthens the neural pathways, rewires the nervous system, and builds the gravity of the new timeline until it becomes your natural home. Surround yourself with those who see the version of you are becoming. Create boundaries against energies that would pull you backward. Do not isolate, but discern. Every environment either stabilizes your frequency or distorts it. Choose wisely. And finally, know this: the goal is not to hold your frequency like a soldier gripping a weapon. True integration happens when you realize you are the frequency. Circumstances will shift like weather across your sky, but your sky remains untouched. When you live from this place, you stop trying to manipulate reality. Reality bends around you naturally, because it always did. You simply stopped interfering with the dance. Synchronicities become so ordinary you no longer gasp at them. Of course, the right person calls at the right moment. Of course, the solution appears exactly when it's needed. Of course, the universe rearranges itself to mirror your clarity. This, old friend, is what it means to embody quantum shifting rather than chase it. You stop being the seeker and remember you were never lost. You stop trying to become and instead remember who you already are. You stand on the 4 pillars not as disciplines to master, but as expressions of your natural state. You pass through the sacred threshold not as a breakdown, but as a birth. You stabilize in your chosen frequency not through control, but through gentle fidelity. And then something miraculous happens. You yourself become the transmission. Your very presence reminds others of their own infinite nature. You no longer speak to convince. You speak because truth overflows. And when you walk into a room, your energy enters before your words, harmonizing the space with a clarity that cannot be faked. So I ask you now, will you keep grasping at techniques, forever proving your worth to an indifferent ego? Or will you rest, even for a moment, in the terrifying ease of who you already are? The quantum field is listening. The only question left is, what frequency are you broadcasting right now?